All right, so we've got 25 minutes to get going. So what I really want to do is follow on from the conversation that we had last week around getting very, very clear with who you're working with in your business and what their targets are and what they want to achieve, and showing up as a leader to inspire, encourage, and keep accountable. So not the leader that's like, hey babe, how you going? Let me know if you need help. It's, do you know that this is achievable this month? Is this what you're working on? Do you want me to hold you accountable? And every day when you show up for your business, you know what the high paying activities are. The high paying activities is looking after your own business, continuing to know how many people you want to bring on board every week. And then also working with your team who have their hand up. So in the beginning of my journey, when I was working towards NMD, I was catching up with people like Erin and Jackie consistently every week, helping and coaching and working with them. Obviously, we had Adam helping at times when we needed as well. But that's why we were able to get to NMD and why we have those clubs in our business, because it's that accountability, that continual checking in, but most importantly, very detailed focus on what it is that you're working towards. And I think when you get very clear and certain about what you and your team are working towards, then you just have that clear, direct path and everything starts to work and happen, okay? So what I wanted to do today is we're almost at end of month and I'm obviously away in New Zealand next week. So I want to set you guys up for a very clear vision for July. Okay, and obviously you're going to go away and do homework after that, but I want to share screen and take you in my virtual office and show you what I would be doing at this time of the month if I was in your position, okay, in terms of goal setting. So you want to be using something like this goal tracker or whatever works for you. If it's not in this format, then make something in a format that works for you. But to fill this in, I'm going to share screen and show you where I would be going. Hang on, let me just log into my virtual office quickly. If you have any questions as we're going along, then just bring yourself off mute, guys. All right, share screen. Okay, so what you want to be doing on the last day of the month, or perhaps the day after the last day of the month, because we do know that we're behind in the virtual office, you want to go to your customer alerts and see how many preferred new customers you have in your team, okay, for the end of that month. Now, based on that, you're going to set your goals for total team customers for July. And obviously, you want to work to make sure that number increases, okay, because where you guys are at right now, if you're continuing to bring on new team, keeping them engaged and plugged in, then that number should rise, okay? So total new customers for the month, this is for June, you want to base your goals for July on that. Also your own new customers. Now you guys know that I'm not working hard on new customers at the moment, so that's why that number's low. It's not in my goals, but you know, if where I was at, where you guys are at now, then I was always looking to have, you know, 3 to 5, depending on, well, obviously where I was at with you guys, I already had a very large customer bank pretty quickly. So 3 to 5 was good for me, but in the beginning it was more like 5 to 10. So you'll adjust that according to how much workload you have with team, because it'll be customer heavy in the beginning. Once you have that bank, you'll be more focused on team heavy. Okay, so what else will you be doing? You'll be going into your business alerts and seeing how many new total franchisees in your team, and you will base July off of that number and wanting that number to grow, okay? Now, right now, while we're at it, you guys should be looking at these team promotions every day of that last day of the week, last week of the month, and working to get all of these promotions over the line, okay? To have so many people close to DVF, that number should dramatically decrease for end of month, because we want people to have that pay rise going into July, because the bigger success check that we can get people in their bank account, the more excited and inspired they are to continue their journey. Okay, so helping these people in SDVF and DVF over the line, and anyone going for SC is crucial, okay? Your energy, your focus should be all about that in the end of the month, and also your qualifiers, okay? So you guys can start leading the way with that and checking your qualifiers every month, and I'll show you how I do that as well. Okay, so another thing that I do to fill out, you know, the positions that people are going for is my team data, success team view. Now mine's crazy now, so it's a lot more challenging now for me to utilize this, but where you guys are at, it's perfect. You click all and it's going to bring up your tree. So you get to go and see, okay, so I'm going to assume that Sarah Shaw is working towards QNMD. I'm going to check in with her, make sure that we're on track, ask her how I can show up for her over the next month to help lead her and her team to QNMD, okay? And then I'm going to make sure that she is really focused and capable, and she totally is, in leading these people and what they're going for, okay? So my best use of my time is to help my frontline become leaders so that I don't have to dig in here too much, okay? Because obviously when you've got hundreds of people in your team, you can't do everything for everyone, okay? So your job is to make these people in your frontline independent as quickly as possible, okay? But if you want to have just a really good snapshot about where your team is at, and if you're only like 2 or 3 lines deep, give me 1 second. This is a delivery thing, I think. Hello. Good, thank you. Oh, very good, thank you. Yeah, everything's fine. No, everything's perfect. Okay, thank you for your call. Thank you, appreciate it. Bye. Sorry guys, I feel like I've been sleeping on concrete for like 5 years on this bed that we have, and we finally bought a new mattress and it's meant to be coming today or tomorrow, so I'm a little bit excited about it. Okay, so obviously if you're not too deep and you don't have hundreds of people in your team and you've got all these brand new, you know, VFs and DVFs in your front line, they don't know how to lead yet. So if they've got people underneath them, you're working with those people as well, okay? So this is just a great visual, if you're visual, to go and see where your team's at, who you're working with, who has their hand up, and that's going to help you fill in this form. So that's what I would do at the beginning of every month as well. If you guys right now, just while we're here, if you want to, obviously you guys know your reports are the most accurate way to track your qualifiers. But what I'm checking every month, every day of the last day of the week of the month, that is very quick and easy to track, especially when you get to my level where there's lots of leaders underneath you, like Brian Marsh, for example, who's perfectly capable of tracking qualifiers. I don't have to look at his business whatsoever. I know he's got it covered, okay? So when your reports get as big as mine, it becomes a little bit overwhelming when it comes to qualifiers. Where you're at right now, it is the most accurate way, okay? Same with who's close to SDDF. It's the most accurate way. However, if you just want some quick snapshots of where everyone's at, how everyone's tracking and who you're helping, if you go to close to qualification this month, and you can check your POBs and your PBs here, but 99.9% of the time, I'm just checking my PB qualifiers, okay? So you're gonna click PB because that's what you wanna check, and you can change this number. So you might wanna see who's 50% of the way there. At this time of the month, I'm more looking 60, 70, 80%, okay? So sometimes I'll check all of those figures, and I'll also check 100%. How many have I got done and dusted already at this time of the month, okay? And I checked that last night. It's already over 200 clubs done and dusted, okay? So at this time of the month, I'm gonna check maybe 70%, show report. And then I'm going to click PB volume deficient because I want it to order it so I don't have to go through the whole list. All these zeros are done and dusted, okay? You go down to the bottom and then it's going to order it from least needed to most needed in 70% done, okay? So Rebecca, I'm going to click on her. I'm going to see whose team she's in. If I see a leader, she's in Jess Shembry's team, which means she's also a part of Brian's team. Both of those people are extremely qualified in ensuring that this person gets qualified. So I know that I can ignore that one, okay? And then I'm just gonna work my way down and see who may need help, who needs a reach out. Do they know that they're this close to getting done? What I love about this report, it tells you how many you've got anything you've got in excess. So this person here is that's added to that 690. They also have 86 in excess. So it's going to draw on that bank, which is going to give her 1,776, which leaves 24 to go. Now, what I'm also going to consider here, if I see someone who's been consistently qualified for months and now they're dropping out of a qualification, see this person here, she's using 1,000 of her bank, over 1,000 of her bank to almost qualify. So that's a red light to me that this person needs to know that their bank is going to be zeroed out next month. So they're going to have to work hard to get their qualification back up because they're going to have none in excess. Okay. So if you see people like that where they're using a hell of a lot of excess, it's either because they had loads of team get to SDVF last month and so all those points rolled into their bank. So that's good news. Okay. But they need to know that it's going to be more challenging unless they've brought on new team. Or it's someone who's consistently qualified for a long time, but they've dropped in their activity in the business and they may not realize that the following month they're going to be way off if they don't get into action. Okay. So this report can tell you a lot about where people are at and where they're sitting. So I want you guys to check that, okay, and try and pull anyone that you see who's in your team. You want to pull them over the line, okay, because remember that success check that they get, the bigger that is, then the more excited they are to continue. But also it's that commitment to your business that you create that culture in your team that you stay qualified. Anyone can stay qualified, okay? When you make that commitment, you get into the high paying activity necessary. You have that focus every month to make sure that you're doing enough to do the bare minimum of qualifying in your business. So you want to create that culture.
Sorry, Kira, how did you just get into that? I'm sorry, to check if people are close to qualifying.
So we go to my team data, close to
my team data, yeah.
Close to bonus qualification.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then we change this to PB only, okay? Otherwise, it's going to bring up people who are POB and PB. And then you do whatever, you ignore this POB line when you're doing that, but you click in whatever percentage you want to see. So what I showed you guys then was people who are 70% done.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And based on that report and where you finish with the end of the month, and based on how many SDVFs you have in your team, you can also set your projection for July of how many clubs you want in your business. Now, if you guys are working towards 6 clubs so that you can come to leadership for 90-day game plan, you're going to have to get very clear on how many SDVFs you need to create for that to happen. Okay. And every month, are you climbing in that direction to make sure that 6 club is ticked off? Okay. And are you creating a group message at the beginning of every month with all your potential qualifiers, your first time qualifiers, so that every week you can put some inspiration in there and coach them and guide them to qualifying? You can put the how to qualify link in that group. Keep them accountable. Let them share their wins when they're done. That inspires. You know, I don't do that now because there's so many leaders who are doing their own qualifiers. But that's what I did on my journey to 100 Club. I'd have all my new qualifiers. Some of you might have been in that group before. And what's awesome is when they start interacting and sharing, yay, I'm qualified today, I got there, and everyone celebrates them. Okay. It's the same with everyone going for SDVF. You can create a group message where you're coaching and guiding those people to SDVF in a group situation, and that you're sharing links relevant to that to help and inspire them along. Is this helpful? Awesome. What else is on here? Obviously your personal new team. So if you're going for 6 club, for example, you can't rely on your team to bring on new team. You can only rely on yourself. Okay. We can do our best to inspire and cross our fingers, but you've got to rely on yourself. What do you need to do to make sure it happens? Okay. So what happens is when you get halfway through the month and you see that these goals aren't on track, you start digging so deep, you get juice plus brain damage, and you get so passionate about the action. You know, I was only thinking the other night, we had a Friday night, the first one in a long time, where we had back-to-back calls on a Friday night. And I'm blessed to be in a position now in my business where I say no to that most of the time. But in all honesty, getting to 100 Club, I was working Friday nights. I was doing calls whenever I needed to do calls. There were sacrifices. Sometimes I'd miss the gym because someone needed to do a call at that time. Now, I'm not saying you need to do that, but you need to know in yourself, what are you happy to sacrifice now on your journey to NMD? Knowing that when you get to a certain level, it's going to give you some freedom back. It's that strategic imbalance, but you have to be okay with how much imbalance. Okay, I'm not here to tell you what that should look like and if it should even be imbalanced. If you're happy to take a longer journey because balance is really important to you, then you do that. Okay, but if you're halfway through the month and you're determined to make these goals happen, then sometimes you do have to get in more action and do whatever it takes, okay? But when you get obsessed with these numbers being non-negotiable, you start showing up for those numbers rather than just seeing what happens and just kind of doing action, but not really knowing what that action is working towards. And I really do believe that when you have 100% certainty in your body that this is non-negotiable, that more of the right people do come into your life as well. Okay, you're moving towards them and they start moving towards you and stuff just starts to happen. Okay, so I want you to get clear on these numbers. I want you guys to be realistic with these numbers. Okay, so I'm not asking you to go from 20 customers to 50 customers. That might be unrealistic, okay, unless you brought on 10 new team, right? So, you know, it might be 20 to 25 or 20 to 30, okay, those smaller jumps. Once you start duplicating quickly, you will build momentum where you start having jumps in the hundreds, okay? But early on, it doesn't typically look like that. So you might have a stretch goal of 50, but your realistic goal might be 30. Okay, that's why it's good to have the realistic goal that you're on track with, and you'll start to see the trends unfold so that you can predict more accurately. And then you'll just have those stretch goals so that if you hit your goals, you're continuing to strive for more, okay? All right, any questions around that? Sorry, I just look at this chat to see if I missed anything. Anyone want to bring themselves off mute and share anything? That's pretty much all I wanted to share with you guys today. I really want to set you guys up with some very clear, focused intention for July, especially. And what I want you guys to do is forward map out as well where you want to be for 90-day game plan, then reverse engineer that. What does July mean then? Okay. And it's here to inspire you when you go and look at your numbers. It's not to beat yourself up if it doesn't look like what you want it to. The journey is always perfect, okay? And I love what Jordan said to me the other day. It's not the outcome that matters. It's knowing that you tried your best, okay? And be truthful with yourself. Have you tried your best? And I think you guys have, according to the knowledge that you've had. But hopefully now that we're giving you some clearer direction, that focused energy can be a lot more targeted now, okay? And if you give it your all, then you can go into 90-day game plan knowing that you have played full out and you can be really happy with where you're at. Good?
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So a lady who's watched a three-way, she's watched a link,
Yes.
and she's come back and said, I'm really interested to find out more. So I've asked her, you know, what was it you liked best about it? And the next step is basically to set up a group message to get her questions answered. And she's like, oh, I really just want to read something first. It's like, I don't really know what to even reply to that.
Say, no worries, babe. Totally understand how you feel. It was important for me to know that this was, you know, something that I really wanted to invest my time and energy in. Can I ask what it is exactly that would interest you the most so that I can get you the right information?
And where would you find something for them to read about business?
On what they asked for.
Okay, all right.
It might be easier to send you another link, you know, because the compensation plan is very complex, and what you found is it's very hard to understand when you're brand new.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
All right, so let me know if you guys need any help with the maths, but hopefully that was pretty clear. And yeah, let's make sure that we have a great end of month. There's still plenty of time to pull any qualifiers, DVS and SDVS over the line, okay, or SCs. And yeah, let's get cracking. Let's make sure that we go into 90-day game plan with some momentum in our businesses.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Kira. It's
Well,
really
Thanks.
good to see things visually.
Yeah, totally. That was
Yeah.
Thanks, Kira.
Yeah.
Kira, did you record? Was that recorded?
yes, I have recorded.
Oh, thank you. Sorry, I dropped in late.
That's right. I'll pop it in. I've just got to get on another call, and then I've got to
Yeah.
run out for an appointment. But I'll definitely get it up this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Bye, girls.